Hey everybody, it's Zach. Welcome back to the Heroverse. And guys, I just got done with episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's just called Chapter 17, this episode. They actually gave us a title of the episode once we got into the episode, but I checked online, I couldn't find it. I also checked on IMDb, I couldn't find it. So I'll probably update later today when they actually put the name of the episode up. But it's just called Chapter 17. This was a pretty damn good first episode to really get us, wanting, to really get us geared up for this season. I feel like this episode was also it was a really short episode. It was not long. I think it was 35 minutes or 34 minutes. It wasn't a very long episode. So I kind of expected it to be either in the 40-minute range or the 30-minute range, somewhere in between or something like that. But it was actually 30 something minutes. And like I said, it was a pretty good episode. We start off with, the armor, and she's pretty much, somebody is kind of, they're kind of doing, what's the word for it? They're kind of doing, what was it? Kind of, there's a word for it. They're doing, an initiation. That's the word. They're doing an initiation for a new Mandalorian. And pretty much, shit ends up happening where, there's a big-ass alligator that ends up, coming out of the water and kind of, interrupts, him, about to, I think he's about to take a sip of something to pretty much, join the Creed. Or I think it was taking a sip of something and he was about to join the Creed. But, of course, there's this big alligator-looking creature that ends up, causing mayhem. And pretty much, it is a whole big fight sequence with a whole bunch of Mandalorians trying to stop this big creature. And the next thing you know, Mando ends up coming in with the Naboo starfighter with Grogu, ends up taking it out. And pretty much Din ended up coming there with Grogu pretty much to tell the armor look, I found this piece from Mandalore, and that pretty much makes me think that the mines are still there, which makes me believe that I'm able to bathe in the waters to to fix my transgressions about everything that happened about me taking off my helmet, and that way I'm able to join the Creed again, if I'm able to, once I go to Mandalore to go do this. And of course, pretty much to tell her okay, I'm gonna go do this. There's a chance that this is still here. And, he ends up going to go see Grief Karga, and pretty much once Grief Karga, I guess, Mando's going there to pretty much, he wants a droid that's going to have his back while going to Mandalore, and he wants, I think it's G811, I think that's called G811, that droid that we saw back in Season 1 that ended up, sacrificing itself for, Grief Karga and Grogu and Din, and also, if I'm correct, I think also, I forget what her name was. I think Cara Dune. I think they were all in that boat and they were all trying to escape, or maybe Cara Dune wasn't introduced yet. I'm not quite sure, but shockingly, there was a top part of G811 or whatever, or I think it's G811. There was an upper part of the droid still left, which I'm shocked that I thought the droid was totally destroyed and there was nothing left. But there was enough where they could salvage it, Grief Karga, where they're okay, Din's I don't trust any other droid. I know you're saying you have the best droids here, but I want this droid, the one that I would call my friend. I want this droid to have my back. And pretty much, they're oh, well, Din tries fixing it, but automatically it wants to go back to its old, protocols of trying to kill Grogu. And the next thing Grief Karga is okay, well, I have some, people here that might be able to fix the droid for you. And, of course, it's Babu Frick and, of course, his people, pretty much trying to, fix the droid. But, of course, he's oh, it's voodoo. The droid's broken. There is no, the part we would need, they don't even make anymore. But, of course, Din's okay, I need somebody that I know I can trust. I need to go look for this part, and if anybody can find this part, Grief Karga is if anybody can find this part, I believe that you could find it. So it's pretty much, we go on this adventure, and we end up pretty much going to, I guess, in the area where, one sector of the Mandalorians, there was a sector where I guess there was a Mandalorian castle. And pretty much, Bo-Katan is there. I was shocked to see Bo-Katan so soon in episode 1. I was not expecting I would see Bo-Katan in this episode, but we did. And pretty much Bo-Katan's like, I lost all of my, Mandalorians, you know what I mean? They weren't going to follow me after me not being able to get the Darksaber and blah, 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 blah. Do you still have the Darksaber? And he's like, yes. And pretty much he's saying like, oh, I'm going to go to Mandalore to, and I'm going to go to the mines so I can bathe in the water so I can, get forgiveness. And she's like, that's, it's all made up what you guys believe in your creed of how the Mandalorian should be, and pretty much saying like, oh, like, you do that, but like that's not the right way to be doing it or whatever. Like she's so against the way they think that's how the Mandalorian should be, and pretty much says, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna actually see if like if the grounds of Mandalore are poisoned or not, like the way you're saying. And then she's like, okay, see ya, Din Djarin, pretty much like, and that's pretty much how they end the episode. So in reality, like this was a pretty good episode. The vibes were like, it felt like in a way, it felt like we have spent time away from these characters. It felt like we did. But at the same time, it also felt like that nice Western vibe that we had. And of course, there was a lot of cute moments with Grogu, whether it be him spinning in the chair, while Din is talking to Grief Karga in his office, and he's just force spinning the chair. That was funny and cute. Whether it be him, snuggling up with Din in the cockpit of the Naboo starfighter, that was really cute as well. And also, like, the tone, like, felt very Western at moments, but also, like, when we were back with, seeing Grief Karga in the town, it was very peaceful. Like, definitely things have changed. Grief Karga becomes, like I said, he's, like, the mayor. And, it was just very interesting to me, like, the music that was playing. It felt very Renaissance-y. Like, it felt like they were, like, almost like it was like a Renaissance fair. Like, it felt like it. It sounded like it. And it was it threw me off a little bit, because I was like, okay, this is very different from any time we've heard any music in Star Wars. Like, to have a Renaissance feel in Star Wars, I thought was very weird. I did not like that. That was probably my least favorite thing about the episode. It was just very different, and it was kind of like off-putting hearing the Renaissance music and kind of it feeling very Renaissance-y. It kind of made me feel like they were almost on a set because it felt like that. I was like, okay, this feels very weird and off, like, and out of place that they would have music like this and it would feel like this. I also didn't mess with the pirates a little bit. That was like the other thing I didn't like about the episode. I did not like the pirates aspect. I don't like the pirate aspect of Star Wars. It's just something I don't like, and I just didn't like that. So I could have dealt without the Renaissance feel and the pirate situation that Grief Karga and Din had to deal with. But other than that, it was a good episode. It was a good first episode. I definitely am excited to see where the season goes. I'm excited to see really what is the objective in this season. I feel like in a way the objective is Din wanting to get to the mines of Mandalore to pretty much start fresh again, to want to join his creed again. But like I'm interested to see like really what are they trying to do with this season. And I feel like also with Giancarlo, I think it's Giancarlo Esposito. He was at the red carpet premiere of The Mandalorian, which was tonight, and they showed the first 2 episodes. But it makes me think that will he be in this season, because we hear about Moff Gideon and how he is in prison and stuff like that. But I have a feeling, will he get out? Is there a chance that might happen? It's very interesting to me what they're going to be doing if Moff Gideon does show up in this season. Like, where will he be? What will he be doing? Will he try to go after Grogu again? These are just questions I have. I'm not quite sure. But, I am interested to see, like I said, where they are wanting to go this season besides us going to Mandalore. I feel like that is the big thing about him wanting to go to Mandalore and him wanting to, get forgiveness for his transgressions, about him taking off the helmet and him pretty much, going against their code. So I feel like that really is the goal right now of him wanting to go to the mines of Mandalore so he can get forgiveness. I feel like that is the goal, but I feel like there's something bigger here, and I'm excited to see what that will be. But guys, I'm really curious to know what you guys think about episode 1 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Did it feel like did it feel like we've spent time away from these characters? Did it not feel like we spent time away from these characters? I'm really curious to know what did you guys think about the first episode, and definitely let me know what your theories are going into episode 2 and your theories in general for season 3. I'm really curious to know. But guys, again, that was the video. Hope everybody has a great day, a safe day, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.